Right on time. All right, let's get started. It is 1:30. This is the Oklahoma County Planning Commission, room 204, 1:30 p.m., April 17th, 2025. Notice of the meeting was, those stairs are tough, posted on April 11th, 2025. Called to order. Roll call, Eric. Well, at least they missed me huffing and puffing. He goes on vacation for 1 month and look at him.
The members of the Planning Commission today are Mr. Rob Murray, Mr. Gary Jewell, Mr. Rob Talbot,
Here.
Ms. Denise Patterson, and Mr. Greg Davidson.
Here. We have a quorum. Let's move forward. Item number 4, approval of minutes of previous meeting, March 20, 2025. Everybody got a copy? Is there anything that needs to be updated or changed? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion. Second.
Roll call, Eric?
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, and Mr. Davidson.
Yes. Okay, item number 5. This item was deferred by the PC at the request of the applicant on March 20th, 2025, PC meeting. Discussion of possible action to approve/deny the general plat of Fontenant Subdivision GP 2025-01. And if I'm not mistaken, items 5 and 6 are sister or companion items.
That is correct.
Okay, so we will also, we also have discussion and possible action to approve/deny the final plat of Fontenot Subdivision FP 2025-01. We'll hear everything at the same time and we will vote separately. So, Eric?
Yes, so just to kind of give you a brief explanation of what his request is, you see there on the screen, he just wants to take 5 acres and split it into 2 lots. One is 2.75, one is 2 acres, and this is adjacent to the Settlers Crossing subdivision to the east, kind of southeast corner of that subdivision. Mr. Fontenot came by yesterday, actually, and asked that this be deferred. I guess there's some other issues that have come up that I'll let him speak to. So it sounded like he wanted to defer it for maybe a couple of months or maybe even longer. So with that, I will let him speak to what date he may want to defer it to, and we'll go from there.
Sure.
Good afternoon. Yes, just
name and address, sir.
Blake Fontenot. Address is 21551 North Horseshoe Road, Edmond.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this time, just due to personal reasons and some travel that we've got going on, I asked that we potentially defer to the September 18th meeting.
Would anything change between now and then, other than obviously personal reasons and travel?
Yes, sir. No, as far as the plat and everything else goes, no changes there.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay. 1 second.
Sure.
Is there anybody here who was intending on talking in favor of this project? Is there anyone here who is intended on talking against this project? Sir, if you'd come back up. I mean, there's nobody here who would want to talk against it. It is something that we could resolve today if you're up to it.
Respectfully, I'd like to hold off on this right now as we're kind of working through a few things here, traveling for work and potentially moving to Louisiana. So we've got some things we're working through.
Okay. All right. Then I'll entertain a motion to approve the deferment of item number 5. Wait, oh, I'm sorry. Can you give us would you say 2 months?
So September 18th, is that the meeting date?
Okay. That's May, June, July, August. That's 5 months. So I'll entertain a motion to defer for 5 months.
Motion to defer.
Second. Roll call, Eric?
Yes, Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, and Mr. Davidson.
Yes. Okay, now I'll entertain a motion to defer item number 6 for 5 months.
Second.
Roll call, Eric?
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, and Mr. Davidson.
Yes. Okay, so items 5 and 6 are deferred to the September meeting. Thank you, sir. Okay, item number 7. This item also was deferred by the PC at the request of the applicant on March 20th PC meeting. Discussion and possible action to approve/deny the preliminary plat for Waterloo Ridge Estates, PP 2025-02. Eric?
So just to kind of go over and stop me if I'm rambling too much, because I'm sure this was brought up at the previous meeting, but this particular subdivision was the subdivision that was contested to some degree in regards to the zoning. And so during that time, the subdivision got built. And so the subdivision has been sitting out there for the last 6, 7 years, a minimum now. So there's a new owner of it, and the county's actually been out there with one of their representatives to look at the roads, to look at the drainage structures that are out there, to see what possible issues we may have. So they're asking that it be deferred again. That's kind of a combination of the county and the applicant itself, just trying to come up with a solution on how we can move forward with the project itself. Just kind of based on what we've seen out there in regards to the roads. The roads themselves, we think, are going to have to be redone. And so we've kind of come up with an idea, kind of kicking it around to where we let them build, let's say, the east half of the subdivision itself. Let them tear up the roads as they are now. And then once those homes are built, come back and redo those roads to county standards is an idea that's being kicked around. Don't know how amenable the applicant is to that, but so that's just an example of one issue. So I don't want to sit here and blame the applicant for all the issues that's going on there. It's just a combination of things that the county is just trying to work out with the new owner of the property itself.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, essentially this deferment is almost a dual request by you, by the county and the applicant.
Right. I would say it's more the applicant just taking in the information that we provided them of possible solutions, just trying to decide what direction they want to go. But yes.
Was there anybody here who was planning on talking in favor of this project?
Hello, Jessica Bloy with Johnson & Associates representing the applicant 20 Sheridan Avenue. As Eric stated, our client is still working with geotech engineers to come up with a paving solution. So we are requesting a 1-month continuance at this time just to continue to work on that.
Any questions? Was there anyone here planning on talking against this project? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve/deny the request for deferment for item number 7 for until April's meeting. May's meeting. Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, Eric?
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, and Mr. Davis.
Yes. Okay, item number 7 is deferred. Item number 8. Discussion and possible action to approve/deny the final plat of Harvest Acres FP 2025-02. Eric?
Yes, the general plat of this subdivision, which is located off of Northwest 234th and County Line Road, it's at the southeast corner of that intersection, was heard by the Planning Commission back in March, the general plat. And so this is just the final plat. As you can see there, the subdivision itself just consists of 9 lots. Each one of these lots is going to access either County Line Road directly or Northwest 234th. All of these lots are 2 acres in size or larger. So it's a pretty straightforward request. So I don't have anything else to add unless you have any questions of me.
County has no issues with the plot?
No, they've asked us some suggestions on what we thought in regards to lot separation, driveway separation. The only thing that we need from them still is just a culvert schedule, which they're aware of. But beyond that, we're good on the planning and engineering side.
Is there anyone here who'd like to talk in favor of this project? State your name and address, please.
Sir, Chris Campbell, 17508 Prairie Skyway, Edmond, Oklahoma. So yeah, we're just, unless, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'm here.
And you're fine with everything the county has been telling you at this point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll provide the follow-up culvert schedule as well.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. Anybody else here who'd like to talk in favor of this project? Okay, is there anyone here who would like to talk against this project? I'm against it, but to represent the oil companies that have production out there. Okay, well, hold on one second. Okay, so at this point, anything to be discussed needs to be discussed about this item and not previous sections of this item. Just so if you could come up and state your name and address and give us your comments, we would love that.
My name is Dan Whitten, 14625 Sedona Drive, Oklahoma City, 73142. The company that I work for has production out there, and they just want to make sure that the pipelines are on the map. And I don't see it.
Eric?
They're not going to be on that.
For the record, Eric, would this stop us from doing what we're doing here today?
No.
Okay, would you mind having a conversation with him after the meeting then to show him what he's requesting?
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yep. Yes, sir, that's correct.
I just want to make sure his concern is reflected
Yes,
on
sir.
the plat.
But it wasn't reflected on.
It's not.
Yeah,
That's
okay. And that's what I'm, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else would like to make a comment either for or against? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve / deny item number 9.
Motion to approve.
Roll call, Eric?
Yes, Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Davidson.
Yes.
Okay, item number 10. Request for deferment by applicant received by the Planning Commission on April 10, 2025. The discussion and possible action to
No,
approve.
go back to item 9.
Oh, 9, sorry. I was getting close. Okay, 9, discussion and possible action to, and I can do it in any order I want, Eric. All right.
I just want to make sure.
Item number 9, discussion and possible action to approve / deny the zoning change from I Industrial District to Planned Unit Development, PUD 2025-02.
Yes, so what they're proposing here in the PUD is basically everything that they're doing on the property now. The property itself is zoned industrial. They want to carry those uses forward in the PUD. Now, the only thing that is not covered under the zoning of industrial is retail fireworks, and that's what they want to do with this PUD is they want to add retail fireworks onto the property here. And so on this drawing that you see in front of you, the slide, where they would put the fireworks stand is on the south side of the property along the parking spaces there to the south. And I have a conceptual drawing that they provided so you can take a closer look.
And this is not for year-round sales, is it?
No, this is just retail, so this would be from the middle of June to the first part of July, and then towards the end of December to the very 1st of January. So it would just be retail fireworks only.
And that's stated in the PUD?
Right, correct. So that's really the only thing that they're wanting to do differently here. Just to kind of give some additional context, the property owner directly to the north of this property that's off the slide that you see here, they have a PUD that is pretty similar to this. When they did the PUD, they added retail fireworks. So really, in this case, all this owner is doing is coming back and adding fireworks, retail fireworks at this time.
And the PUD states the exact location, so it's not going, they can't put fireworks stands all over the place.
Right, right.
Any other questions for Eric?
Just the fact that where they're gonna put the stands are not permanent, so they're just worried about setback requirements or anything where they're putting that.
Well, as far as the drawing there, we don't have any issue, but sure, I mean, you really can't put it anywhere else besides there or on the very north side of the property because you have ODOT right of way to the east. They're outside of our right of way to the south, so that's why we didn't have any problem utilizing those parking spaces. The other thing is in regards to the county aspect of it is it's not a permanent structure. This is temporary in nature, so it may only be there a week or so out of the year.
And there's no issue with it being that close to the strip mall?
No. And the way the fireworks, since the county has become the fire marshal to some degree for the unincorporated area of the county, when somebody gets a firework permit to do retail fireworks, one of the things that has been added over the last year is an inspection. So we work with a third-party vendor or a few of them to go out and actually do inspections once the stand is set up to make sure that they meet fire life safety code.
And the gas pumps don't bother anybody?
Well, it is concern for me, but apparently it meets requirements in regards to fire life safety. So that's something that we'll be watching for sure. Don't get me wrong, but as it sits now, they're within compliance of that. Right, right.
We've all been in.
But
Oklahoma.
yeah.
I know. Okay. Any other questions for Eric? Is there anyone here who would like to talk in favor of this project?
Hello, Jessica Bloy with Johnson & Associates representing the applicant, One East Sheridan. I do not have anything to add, so I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here who'd like to talk against this project or general comments? Hearing and seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve/deny item number 9.
Motion to approve.
Roll call, Eric?
Yes, Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, and Mr. Davidson.
Yes.
All right, item number 10. Request for deferment by applicant received by the PC on April 10th, 2025. Discussion and possible action to approve/deny the zoning change from R2 Rural Residential District to PUD 2025 MacArthur Hills. Eric?
So the applicant did send in a letter in time to defer the item that meets the Planning Commission's deferral policy. So that's why I made a note on the agenda itself that they asked for deferment. I know there may be at least one or two people that were here to speak on this particular item, but I don't know if that's something that the Planning Commission wants to take on now, or you just want to wait until the next meeting. I can explain the project if you'd like, even though it's being deferred. That's up to you.
You said he did defer in time limit?
Yes, he deferred in time that meets the Planning Commission's policy in regards to deferment.
Okay, but it's also the applicant must have a valid reason for requesting the deferral and must state that reason in the written request.
So their
what is the
reason is they're still working with Deer Creek Water, getting water to the property itself. So just to kind of give you a little bit more background of what they're asking for, the property itself is, if you look at that corner, this is the corner of Northwest 178th and MacArthur. This is the northeast corner of that intersection, and you see that area that's blue, that's a PUD. It's a commercial PUD that's been there quite some time. But the area that they want to develop is east and north of that as you go up into that floodplain to the north. So what they're wanting to do there is half-acre lots on that property. The property itself consists of 227 acres and 277? 227. So they're wanting to develop half-acre lots. And from my count, there's about 160 homes that would be developed as part of this PUD. Now, the reason they did a PUD is because we don't have an in-between zoning. You either have 1 acre or you go all the way down to R0, which is 6,000 square foot. So to put that into context, you know, that's kind of what is across the street to the west in Deer Creek Hills. That property there is zoned R0. And so even if you come back south of that, there's another subdivision that's called the Meadows and MacArthur Park that's zoned that as well. And so those subdivisions there have access to Deer Creek water and the City of Oklahoma City sewer. In this particular case, like I said, they're still working out, I guess, the issue with Deer Creek water. The main difference in between why they're going to half-acre lots to the smaller lots that you see to the west and the other two subdivisions, because the City of Oklahoma City does not have capacity at this time. Now, from my understanding, that's going to be a 5 or 6 year issue until they get that resolved. So they could always come back when that issue is resolved to attach to the City of Oklahoma City sewer. That's what they desire, and the City of Oklahoma City agrees. From my understanding from an engineer here, that they may even have to put in a lift station there for that to drain properly in regards to waste. But that's just kind of a quick overview of what they're wanting to do there in the particular PUD to give you more context.
Okay, but what is the problem with Deer Creek water?
Well, they didn't get in this situation. I mean, they didn't get into the details of what, you know, if it's the contractor negotiation. I didn't get into that issue with them as far as the specifics of what the issue is. From my understanding of what little information they gave me is just that they're just trying to come to some agreement as far as getting Deer Creek water there. Typically with Deer Creek water, just based on past projects, is typically they want you to improve the lines for a mile in every direction. So obviously that's a big cost to see if that's something that they want to take on possibly. I mean, there's several things that come to mind of why they may have issues, and maybe they want to come back and even remove or withdraw this request potentially in the future if they can't come to some agreement.
Okay,
I guess I'm missing what you're getting at.
What I'm trying to get at is would this be considered an unforeseen circumstance? Or if you're telling me every time we go to Deer Creek water, we have these same conversations, so why would this situation be any different that we would defer? I mean, because basically, in my opinion, what we're saying is they're not happy with what's happening, so we're going to defer until they're happy. But meanwhile, everybody took their time to come to the meeting today. We put it on the meeting today. So to actually ask for a deferment, normally with the deferment, like earlier, there was an obvious reason. Who would have known that the roads, okay, because it's been 5 to 7 years. That makes sense. But so far, all I'm hearing for the deferment is they haven't nailed down the water aspect of it yet. And it doesn't sound like Deer Creek has sent them something saying, hey, we're having a problem on our end. We need more time.
But we never get anything from Deer Creek. We never have. So waiting on Deer Creek is a whole different issue. So if anything, I guess I'm asking because I let them know that this was not an issue because it met the policy in regards to getting deferment to the board. Right, time-wise. Right. So, you know, I even went as far as they were requesting the deferment on the application itself to make people know that get the agenda beforehand, that this could be the outcome of this. So I would prefer, just to cover myself on this, if more than anything, to defer until May.
Okay. Any other questions for Eric? So out of curiosity, how many people were here to talk and possibly, or talk about this project in general, by a show of hands? So, two. Okay. Okay. Well,
I mean, we had quite a few phone calls as far as the people in Deer Creek Hills and just some other property owners. We had people that came down to our offices. Whatever information or question they were asking for, I let them know then that more than likely this is going to be deferred.
Okay.
So I tried to cover all bases in regards to making everybody happy.
Okay, so with that said, I'll entertain a motion to, unless other people have questions for Eric, we'll entertain a motion to approve/deny the request for deferment. A motion to approve for deferment? Second, roll call, Eric?
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Davidson.
No.
Okay. Item is deferred to May, the May meeting,
Which is May the 15th.
May the 15th. Okay. All right, item 11, right? Or did I get myself
Nope,
confused?
that's correct.
Okay, item 11, discussion and possible action to approve/deny the general plat of Jackalope Corner, GP 2025-03. Eric?
So before I discuss the item, there were some letters of protest that were sent. So I want to hand those out to you. That way you can review those as I'm going over the project.
Sure. And a motion to accept the letters of protest?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, Eric?
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, and Mr. Davidson.
Yes.
Okay.
So the project before you is located off of Sooner and Waterloo Road. It's fairly close to I-35. I guess it'd be about a half a mile west of I-35. It's just off the picture there. And so this property was rezoned industrial, if I recall correctly, towards the end of 2023, the beginning of 2024. And so now they're beginning the process of developing the property with this general plat. And so the general plat itself consists of 4 lots. The lots are of various sizes. Lot 4 in the southeast corner there is the biggest lot out of all of them. And so in regards to the lots themselves, the county has no issue. The issue, and I try to get this across into the staff report that was sent to the Planning Commission, really has to do with access. So just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on out there and kind of some of the timetables from my understanding of how these projects are all going to work, I want to start at I-35 and that interchange there. So from my understanding, they're going to rebuild that interchange, and that's going to be led by ODOT in November of 2026. We think it'll probably take them 2, possibly 3 years to complete that interchange, but part of that interchange is actually going to be 4-laning Waterloo as you go west to Sooner Road and then coming south on Sooner Road. From my understanding, it would only be maybe 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet south of that intersection there, where they would 4-lane it as well. So, like I said, that is something that's coming up. Obviously, it's going to be some time before it's actually built. On top of that, District 3 has shown some interest of doing a project there at that intersection where they would want to build a roundabout. So if you're familiar with that intersection there, on the southwest corner, there is a cemetery. On the northwest corner in Logan County, that is barely shows on the picture there is a gas station that is right on top of the roadway. And then you have on the northeast corner, there is a fairly large development that's going in, various commercial things. I've even heard some discussion of maybe apartments going in. You go out there today, there's a Taco Bell, a car wash, a Starbucks, a Wendy's, so on and so on, a Brahms. So there's quite a bit of activity that's going on in that area just generally, and I'm sure the folks that live out there can tell you the traffic issues that they're having currently. So I wanted to give you an idea of potential projects that are moving forward, not only with ODOT, but the county. And then I want to hand out this picture here so you guys have a diagram in front of you as far as the points of access that they're asking for.
Just one? Yeah, they're all the same. Some people think. Hey, Eric, how big are lots 2 and 3? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but just based on the drawing, lot 2 is the smallest one, so I would probably say that's around 2 acres. Lot 3 is probably a little bit bigger, probably looking around 3 acres would be my guess. So the drawing that you see there, you see those points of access that they're requesting. And so some of those points, I would say most of those points probably meet the county regulations as they stand today. So we have a requirement that you have to be basically 300 feet away from the intersection itself, and then the driveways that you install at that point have to be 200 feet away from any adjacent driveway. So if you want to start on the north side as an example, so if you look at the building that already exists there just outside of the plat on the east, that is a church. I don't know if the church is still in existence or if the church has been acquired by this developer or not. So I will say there are some questions there, but you see that they have a driveway that currently exists and the driveway that they want to put in that does meet our requirement as far as 300 feet from the intersection where it enters into lot 2. That's a fine driveway, but the issue is going to be the conflict back to the east with the church. So maybe whomever's here to speak for the developer can give us some input. It could be potentially to where they're moving that driveway to the church back to the east, to where it's no longer a conflict. So if that's the case, we still have some concerns, but they are in compliance with our regulation. So if you come south on Sooner Road, you can see that it looks like a home that's on lot 1 towards the east property line there. There's a driveway that comes out pretty close to the intersection there. I would assume that home is probably going to be demolished and that driveway would probably be removed altogether to where the driveway that you see to the south is the 300-foot requirement. Then they have another driveway even further to the south that would access lot 4. So again, it's not so much that those driveways don't meet the county's regulation. The county engineer has some issues as far as safety and just the amount of traffic, especially along Waterloo Road, with those driveways being as close as they are to that intersection itself and possibly, other entrances that currently exist. So, and we let the applicant know this up front that the county engineer would really like to see to where all of this traffic is circulated internally to where it comes back to the driveway that they have on the south that accesses Sooner Road. So I provide all that information to really, and I'll let the county engineer speak to some of this as well and give an opportunity to the applicant to make sure that we're not missing anything on our side. But it's kind of come down to what the Planning Commission would like to see. And I wanted to provide you as much information as I could as far as what's occurring out there now, possible future projects, all that information, so you're as informed as we are. So I guess I will start with Stacy. to see if he has any issues, or maybe he can explain some things that maybe I've left off potentially.
Well, that divergent diamond that ODOT's gonna put in there, I think we're already in excess of 10,000 cars a day on Waterloo, and it's just gonna grow. That's a lot of traffic coming through there. That's why we're looking at something more substantial than ODOT was planning there at Sooner Road. And they might even build it for us. Negotiations are still going on. So we need to get those driveways out of that intersection for sure. Because the intersection is gonna be pushed to the east because of that cemetery on the southwest corner. So it would be nice if there was an internal road in this subdivision to move the traffic through. That's a suggestion, but that's not really a requirement. Minimal access is gonna be needed though. They can have one on the north and probably one on the west. At this point, until we see what ODOT's really gonna do through there. Would be what I would like to see, just for traffic safety.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, technically this is fine, but
Well, not the driveway that's on the west side right there in the intersection. That's gotta go.
that's gotta go. So that one gotta go, but the one on the north side and then the very south on the west side?
They've got 3 on the west side there, and those 2 on the south are too close together. So.
Oh, I see. I'm missing it. Right. Okay. So just the way this is written today, we wouldn't have, it's not up to standard.
Correct. We need to remove some of the access points.
And we do ask for internal, that's just a suggestion and it's nothing in the zoning or rules or whatever.
This is a PUD.
No, it's straight zoning. So the subdivision regulations is what dictates separation from the intersection and other driveways. So it's not a zoning issue.
So based on the kind of going back to the letter of protest that we received, environmental concerns, the way this is, there's no environmental concerns from the county standpoint.
Not that I've been made aware of.
Okay. Pollution and resource depletion, again, that is something that you guys track through the development and make sure that they have whatever they need in place while they're doing construction.
Right. So the only building that's actually being used at this point that we've actually permitted is the one that's on the very south side of that driveway. That farthest entrance to the south along Sooner, that outbuilding that's there, they're actually in the process of building that, and it's pretty much done. Now, from my understanding, and I don't know if the engineer that's here today, I don't know if he would know the answer to this, but from my understanding, it's supposed to be a lawn care business to where they have a couple of offices in there, but like I said, they haven't finished the permit as of yet, but they're getting close. So that's my only understanding of what's going on out there currently.
And drastic and negative impact on the residents, I understand that. Traffic and safety, that is the one that we're saying we have an issue from a county perspective with. Okay. Any other questions for Eric or Stacy? Is there anyone here who'd like to talk in favor of this project?
Good afternoon, John Doyle, Cedar Creek Engineering, 11912 North Pennsylvania, Oklahoma City. Just wanted to clear up a few things. One is that extreme north driveway there in that northwest corner, that will be taken away. That will not be used in the future.
Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Anyone else here to talk in favor of this project? Is there anyone here who would like to talk against this project or general comments?
I can talk in favor of it.
Oh, favor, come on up, sir. I jumped the gun, sorry. Your name and address, please.
I'm Adam Ingram, 251 Old Farm Road, Edmond, Oklahoma, 73034. I'm the developer and we have the property. So the building on the south is landscape warehouse space. We bought it just as it started, and it was going to be this whole, all of the warehouse on the bottom and all of lot 4 was going to be marijuana grow industrial stuff. That's what they had planned for it. And so we bought that and turned it into just, normal use and not that. And so we know the church is happy about that. On lot 2, we're talking with urgent care to come in there, and then on the corner, a dental office. And so we have, I think, some normal hour type, businesses coming in there, businesses that are really good for the area. Obviously, yeah, that northwest corner was there. We have a driveway that's been there forever on Waterloo. That was probably my naivety of not just assuming that stays with, access. And then, so that's kind of what we have going.
Obviously, you've heard the conversation so far. Have you ever put any thought into having an internal pathway?
No, and I think it would devalue the area, significantly.
Any other questions?
So the little drive is on coming off Center Road towards Velvet.
Yeah.
That one would go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the church is still active.
It is, yeah. In fact, we have a standing Thursday meeting, and they like to know what we have going on, and we go in and tell them so.
No shared ownership from you guys.
No.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Anyone else who wanted to talk in favor of the project? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, is there anyone here who has general comments or would talk against this project? You.
And my name is Jonathan Jones. I live at 6625 North Sooner Road.
Okay.
One of my comments is the traffic right now at Sooner and Waterloo. It's really crazy before and during and after rush hour. Just getting up from the interstate, I've seen that traffic back up all the way down to almost the interstate as it is. So more traffic is going to make it more of a headache. And when traffic does back up down the Interstate 35, they do come up Sooner Road to bypass a lot of that going all the way up into Guthrie. So my concern is more trash. And as far as their driveway on Sooner Road on the south side, just north of their building, I am wondering about their gas meter that they have on the northeast corner of that building. How are they going to go around it? Is there going to be a safety feature in case somebody hits it? So my concern is excessive traffic and all the extra littering that we've already gotten so far. And I'm not just talking about McDonald's and Walmart bags.
Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Hi, I'm Felicia Jones, and I live at 60.
Pull that down if you want.
Hi, Felicia Jones, and I live at 6655 North Sooner. And my property and home is literally right across the street. Um, I have lots of concerns. When we built our house, we kind of saw all the construction happening there north of Waterloo, and then found out what was going on there. We were like, oh man, because traffic is a nightmare as it is. And then saw a concrete pad across the street, and I kind of got excited. I thought, oh, somebody's going to build a nice home. No, it's a metal building, and their lights shine straight through my windows all night long. So I guess I need to buy some blackouts or something, but I don't necessarily have an issue with them right across the street. I've had conversations with, I guess, possibly some of the workers that are there. My biggest concern is that access road is like literally at my driveway. And if that's going to be the access for all of these subdivision lots for businesses, that's going to majorly impact me. Like, we're kind of on a hill already. So I've already lost any privacy just for the lights shining through my windows. And you add four businesses, and that's going to be their main access right literally in front of my driveway. I know this is irrelevant, but we were never notified of any rezoning. I know it was zoned agricultural, and all of the sudden, all of us neighbors on this side are completely shocked that it just got rezoned. So yes, we definitely don't want a marijuana grow center. We do not want any dispensaries. We have a lot of nice homes right there, and that's fine. I get it, the corner and that side is, obviously commercial, but can we not stop that at some point, coming back into the residential? I feel like we're putting the cart before the horse. The traffic's already becoming a nightmare. And then we're going to add this kind of access right in front of residential homes. Kids, adults for that matter, anybody walking there. And it is on a slight hill. So when I'm trying to leave, I have to be careful when I pull out. So if you're adding hundreds more vehicles coming in and out of that area, it's just, I'm not happy with the thought of that. The noise, everything. So I guess that's.
There any questions?
Yeah, I'm literally right in front of that drive that they're trying to do that access management driveway or road to go to all of those lots, except for, I guess, lot 2. There's some nice trees in there, so I'm assuming all of those will just get demolished, and it'll just be more concrete and more buildings, and just I like to garden. I love to garden. We have 2.5 acres, so we're outside a lot, and nature is important, and I feel like we frequently, by just the almighty dollar, forget that we really do need to reserve some of these areas, trees and whatnot, for the birds and whatnot. But yeah, so my main concern is just the traffic. The access management location is obviously, for me, a big, huge eyesore. Property value, I've been told that it could potentially increase my value. I don't see how that is even possible. I just see it decline, because who wants to live literally right across the street after building a nice home and be right across the street from multiple businesses that are going to be literally right across the street competing with you getting in and out of your own home? So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, hearing and Eric, I do have a question now. Just to make sure I understand what we're saying here. If we approve this, they can build it the way with the entranceways the way they did. If we decline it, then how do we ensure that we get the entryways the way we want it?
Well, you just have to make a motion as far as what you are agreeable to and what you would like to see go away.
Well, this isn't a PUD, right? This is just straight.
Right, the zoning is already in place.
Okay,
but
so-
this is the planning process to where we have more, this is part of the subdivision regulations, not zoning.
Okay.
So you have a little bit more oversight in regards to those subdivision regulations in regards to driveway placement in this case. Now, like I said, on that north side there, that driveway meets the setback from the intersection itself. Obviously, it is an existing driveway that's been there. That is obviously true. I don't know if the county engineer would have any issue with that driveway being there than the church driveway to the east being so close to that. I don't know if that's a concern for him.
Well, the main entrance on the north side's already there, and so they line up with each other. I'd prefer both of them further east, but that's the one on the north's already built.
So it sounds like the north side, the way they have it drawn, is that's fine. How it is how it is. On the west side, they stated that that northwest driveway would disappear, so you have that one in the middle of lot one. And then the one that is on the very south side, next to the outbuilding that's there from what I can tell.
What about the one just north of that? Is it gone as well? That little one?
That'd be more of a question for them. Is that driveway going to stay there, or is that driveway going to go away?
It's pretty close to the new one.
To me, it seemed like it would make sense for that one to disappear and just blend it into the one to the south. But okay, so it sounds like that the driveways on the west would be the one that is just west of lot one there on the drawing, and then the driveway that is being proposed to go all the way back to lot 4.
So those two we got rid of half of them, and those meet our regulations.
So it sounds like, based on what he's stating and what they've stated, that the way it's drawn, for the most part, since they're getting rid of the two driveways, the one on the northwest corner and the one just north of the outbuilding, that the county would allow those two driveways there, and then the one that is already existing on the north side, they would allow that one too, based on this conversation.
So basically, if we were to make a motion, we can make a motion to approve with the elimination of the top two north driveways on the west side.
So it would be the very northwest one,
right?
And that middle one would remain, and then one as you come back south, that is just north of that driveway would be gone,
okay.
And then you would have that driveway farthest south that would remain.
So if we,
Two on the west side. Right, on lot one self, that is correct. There would only be one driveway. But to me, if maybe I'm overstepping my bounds, but if I'm developing that lot, I would give access directly off Sooner Road, but I would also have access off of that driveway just to give more access, just to get to the property itself, in and out.
And that there would not be anything, that's just an access right to property 4, because they gave it to one also. That was probably not the issue here, right?
Right. To me, if I'm looking at it, and I don't want to speak for them, but in some regards, I guess I am, but the way I look at it is, if I have a driveway on lot 2, then I can not only access lot 2, but I can also access lot 3. I also have access on lot 1 further to the north. Then I could also use that driveway to the south for access for lot 4, lot 3, lot 1. I don't see anything but benefit of basically, even though there's not an internal circulation where we're blocking off access to the north or to the west altogether, you just have multiple points of access to where if traffic on Waterloo is bad, you can come back to the south, exit on Sooner Road, and then go south on Sooner Road, as an example. So to me, it kind of gives you a more complete internal circulation when you do it that way.
My question is, do they have some proposal for lot one? And you talked about lot two. Do you have somebody proposing for lot one?
I'm Eric Flisky, 600 Northwest 23rd, Oklahoma City. I'm also a developer as well, but I have lot 1 and 2 under contract for the uses. And so a couple things I want to point out is there is an agreement for cross access through all the lots. So the lot 2 building, if we get it constructed, we'll have access to come all the way down to that drive and vice versa. So it's somewhat a balance of what you're trying to accomplish internal drives. You're going to end up with 3 drives if this is approved, and then there's cross access to access all those drives, if that makes sense.
Lot three, all four?
Correct. Lot 4, they're all going to have access through internal drive systems, but they'll be private drives, not public drives.
And basically, we're okay with this. Okay.
If you can kind of envision that north drive, the driveway will come right now. It'll come through there, and then the lot line between lot 1 and 2, internal drive lane will basically follow that south, and that's how the interconnectivity will work.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand how I say this when we make the motion so that we're making it properly.
Can I make one more suggestion?
Sure.
I'll make a suggestion to that is the best way of looking at this diagram is the 3 large entrances is what's staying. If you look at it, you're eliminating everything that's small, but all the 3 large ones is which we're trying to ask for approval.
So essentially, the 3 large ones are the new ones, and the small ones.
2 are new. 1 is existing.
The
north is existing and is being slightly widened so that it meets regs.
So perfect. So we're keeping the one on the north, and we're going to approve the 2 that we're adding on the west, and then eliminating any other existing entryways on the west.
That's a good way to say it.
Perfect. Okay. I think we got it. Did you get all that? All right. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we approve the general plat of Jackalope Corner GP 2025-03 with the amendment that the north entranceway stays, the 2 planned entryways on the west side are approved, the existing entryways on the west side will be removed. Roll call, Eric.
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot.
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, and Mr. Davidson.
Yes.
All right. Item number 12, discussion, consideration, possible action to approve of ADA Endress providing a presentation to the Planning Commission covering board members' duties, responsibilities, and frequently asked legal questions. Uh-oh.
So this was something that was requested by the board, and so this particular item is just for you guys to discuss in what form this would take place. So if you want this to take place at the next meeting, as an example in May, do you want it to be a slideshow presentation? Do you want it to be information that she provides that you take home and read to where it's not discussed here? The item is for discussion on how you want to do this, and I'll let her talk.
Go ahead and, let me know in advance. I can make sure that I have particular questions you might have. Once again, I don't know what you want or what you need. I'm not going to presume to know or not what you don't know or what you do know. So if that's for discussion, how you want it, I can do it.
I think from my standpoint, I think I've been on the board almost as long as you have, correct? I think for the new members that are coming in, I think we need to make sure that our exposure and our risk on our comments up here going out to the public, that we're protected for one, and that we stick to what's being asked or what's in front of us on the agenda, and not get personal and not get.
Out of bounds. That would be great. I like the idea of the presentation too, and basically it can be public. It doesn't have to be an executive session, or so we do. Because the other thing, and this is why I asked the last question. The big thing to me is, okay, and I'm just going to use a hypothetical because like it never happened before. All right, if either one of the board, and we'll do it. Okay, if a board member is not following the rules, meeting rules, and like say we go back to item number 11. Okay, well we were just talking about the general plat. Okay, well if the conversation turned to anything not related to the general plat, how do we politely ask them to stop, and then when that doesn't work, what do we do next? Mm-hmm. Right.
As an ADA, it's not like they can stand up and do that. You don't have parliamentary powers.
Yeah.
But at least I think that everybody knows their lane and the bumpers and what's proper conduct and what's not, and why it's important for you to I can cover that.
Yes.
At the end of the day, individual conduct is individual conduct, and I can cover code of conduct, meeting presentation, how to make it just in a proper way. That
Sure.
kind of thing. If that's what you all are looking for. Like I said, I don't want to presume information and give you a whole presentation that's not what you were expecting.
No, understood.
So that's not a problem. And then I can also cover, what the VA, what kind of advice and guidance we can offer and what.
Sure.
Where you need to go if you have.
The next thing, and I don't know if this falls under you, but it might. Okay, well, I don't think any of us have been trained in meeting, like, public conversation. Can we cut them off at 5 minutes? Can we let them talk for 50 hours? I mean, do we need to, what are the expectations we would need to set from up here that we're consistent, that doesn't get us into trouble? The other thing too is, like we were just talking about, zoning change, we talk about this. Plats, okay, well that's different. Like we were just talking about, we can request things. On a zoning change, or like a PUD, what can we require as a board on a PUD versus just a zoning change? I don't think anybody's ever told us that, so sometimes we're up here not knowing that we can ask them to change the driveways, or we can't ask them to change the driveways because it's just a zoning change, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that might be a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, really, all we're trying to do is run an efficient meeting that's beneficial to everybody, and we're doing it the right way. So. And I also think we should put something in there on how we abdicate the president and put the vice president in charge.
No, I don't think so. I was paying attention on that one.
Yeah, you were paying attention. All right. Yeah, just don't show up. Yeah. And I think we should also review the deferment policy. And what I mean by review is that back to item number 3 is very vague. There is what is a valid reason? And I'm not asking you to tell us what the criteria is, but to give us some guidance as to the range of valid reasons, if that makes sense. Because it always is going to be a case by case. But just what are some factors we should consider when deciding that?
Just to give an example, and I don't I can't remember if you were here or not. It may have been before your time, Denise, but when Meadows and MacArthur Park was coming into existence, the whole issue was Deer Creek water. And so that case, when it was before the Planning Commission, I mean, it was deferred month after month after month. I mean, we went on almost a year of deferment. And so I can see cases like that absolutely to where you just need to withdraw, or we're not going to go, we're going to deny, whatever the decision is, and move on down the road. Most of these cases, so if we take the one in MacArthur Hills, Deer Creek Water is not an easy organization to work with. And that's from my understanding of others over the years. I'm looking at you.
But really the point to it.
Well, that's because
Eric,
you have a backhoe.
No, the point to it, Eric, is there was a point in time we were handing out deferments like they were Pez dispensers. Okay, and it's sometimes it's not that I was questioning you, but I think we need to show a precedence that yes, we will hand out a deferment, but you just can't come in and say I want a deferment without
And I completely agree. And so like that example, MacArthur Hills, I want to give them a call, and I do this not just on this, but even other ones I do this. I'm like, okay, you got what you asked for, be ready. Right. And so I can understand one time, but then after that, I completely understand where you're talking about.
Yeah, because I mean, we all know Deer Creek Water. We also know Oklahoma City because we've deferred many of those. But my thing is, my only point to what I was asking is we don't want a person to actually put in an application last week, okay, and then say, hey, it's not going through. Okay, anybody who's done any of this knows that Deer Creek's not going to give you an answer in 7 days. Now, if they're like, hey, we submitted it 3 months ago, we're going through it, well, to me, that's reasonable. Okay, and that was the point of the question. It just, sure. Yeah, I mean, but there was a point in time, every deferment was because we got 50 protest letters and then they wanted to defer it, and it's like, no, we're not doing that. So,
right.
But yeah, I mean, those are the kind of things that you could do, and it's just like I said, to basically help educate us, and then also let us know what we have to do to get Marquita to run our meetings each week. We were out of here in 15 minutes last week.
Mm-hmm. So as Eric said, if the general thing is okay, we bring you a one-off is used, but after that, don't expect it. Then we just need to be clear and consistent in enforcement, because what we don't want to do is have like a meeting today where we grant 3 deferments and then we get to one or don't grant that deferment and they're going to it. But I follow the rules. These other people got deferment. So that's my only cautionary tale from a legal perspective. Everything we can do, try to be as possible so that we have even.
Well, we would have blamed that on the county because they asked for the first 2 on that. Yeah, so, yes.
So just to recap, this is what I have so that like I said, stay in contact with Eric and the email address, you'll contact me. There's something else that you want to add after today. That I have, to know something about risk of, board risk on comments and statements they make this way. What the parameters are for code conduct agenda. Following what happens when board members are following what board moves forward as a whole to resolve that. Zoning, same class, the differences, what changes the board has to require on the sex items. And so it would be very general. Public comments, how long can you cut out and what do you need to do to make that clear to the public? And then reviewing the review of the deferment.
think that's about it.
So with that being said, is there, wherever you're gonna present, is it possible you could have all that ahead of time? We have an opportunity.
So just to be clear, did you guys want this at the next meeting, which is May the 15th?
Whatever fits into your schedule. I mean, if you can do it May 15th, great. If it takes you a couple months, we've only done it this way for 50 some odd years. I mean, so what's another? Right.
Aside from the fact that I have to check my calendar, make sure I don't have any questions, usually we arrange it at that time, so that's not gonna be a problem. But I would try to put something together for you and if I can get it.
Okay.
Know it's Eric and it's done. Obviously, I'm gonna have to make sure that I'm not running off the rail anywhere for their engineering requirements, and then we will have a.
You do realize that's the most any ADA has spoken without yelling at us at this meeting. No, I will leave it at that before I am removed from the board. Okay, that's awesome. All right. I love it. Yes, we are. Okay, anything else on item 12? All right, item 13, discussion, consideration, possible action to discuss the Oklahoma County Master Plan Amendment Survey and Oklahoma County Master Plan Amendment Survey Summary Report. Eric?
So I sent everybody the report, basically giving a summarization of the surveys that were sent out and what people would like to see moving forward. So I just wanted to give anybody an opportunity to give comments, suggestions, whatever you'd like to say about that.
I mean, this is what, step 1 of 50? Or?
Well, to some degree, yes. So at this point, actually today, we were in front of the budget board to get additional funds to move forward with the contract for the master plan. So the budget board approved our request for $50,000. So we'll get that in place. We're still reviewing the contract with C.H. Guernsey. They're the ones that were selected through the process to do the master plan for us. And so once we get the contract in place, then we're going to hit the ground as far as doing public meetings, not only here, but out in the districts as well. And so that's where we are right now, but I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to speak your mind on that report if you had anything.
I didn't have anything on the report. And this is going back years, and I slept a few times since then. I remember at one point there was like this big master plan meeting, and they invited a bunch of people in from the public. Okay, and I don't know if that's part of this process. If we do that again.
So it's not part of this survey. Now, when I send out that survey to you guys, right, the people that have signed up for the emails of the agendas that I do, I included the survey so they could review the report just like anybody else. But we will have that same process you're describing once the contract for the consultant has been signed and we move forward. So yes, we'll get there to where we have a big public meeting, not only here, but like I said, out in the districts to have all those conversations.
Yeah, okay. And I know you have no control over this because whoever comes, okay, to those meetings. But the meeting I went to was predominantly 80% builders, 10% developers, and maybe 2% public. It would be nice to get a more even flow if we can, but I know you have no control over that. So
sure.
I just wanted to say that so I can state for the record I made this comment. So, because those builders will kill you.
They will.
I know. There's two of them over here.
I know. That's why I'm leaning this way when I'm making the comment. All right. So any.
What majority is just
homeowners. Yeah. All right. And yeah, no, it's just because part of what it is a lot of times people come in and they say, well, the master plan. Well, when we built the master plan, you guys were all invited to come, but you didn't come. Okay, and it's like, and not to it. If you how Ray got me to be on this board is I would complain about the county all the time, and he would say, well, here's your chance to do something, and it's like, well, you really stink. Because now how can I say no? But that's the point is. The people that do come and complain because they don't like the rulings and things like that, well, now they have the chance to help set the master plan. But if they don't come, I mean, whose fault is it? Exactly. So, any other questions or comments? All right, now to the important stuff. Discussion and possible action to receive the March 2025 fee fund report. We're broke.
Yeah, we're in the hole further.
Yeah.
We're in the hole further now than when we were. We're in the hole $5,800.
Yeah, there we go. I like that.
$100 or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
you reject us as builders, you know, when we do something wrong, right? So why not?
re-inspection costs money.
Yeah, that's true. Right, but we don't have to republish. The only people that are kind of cheated, if you will, is the general public, because depending on how closely you read like this agenda, a lot of them assume, okay, it's going to be on, I'm going to be able to speak. So they think that we're going to renotice them for next month, which we don't. Right. So that's so they're the ones that are kind of the ones that get cheated. I mean, mail is killing us as far as just the cost.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's just going to get worse. But so yeah, right now we're in the hole. We'll see.
Oh, no.
We'll see what happens. You know, as the spring and summertime come around, we'll see if that picks up. Obviously, the economy right now is not the best, but we'll see what happens.
Fireworks season coming. Yeah. All right, so I have a motion to receive the fee fund report.
Motion to receive.
Second. Roll call, Eric.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson,
Yes.
and Mr. Davis.
Yes. All right. Item 15, new business. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, Section 311.9, new business is defined as any matter not known about or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting of this agenda. Any new business, Eric?
Just one quick question. Did you guys get my email about the June meeting?
If we did, I didn't read it.
Okay.
I read all the other ones he sent.
Right. Just look at that email. There'll be something on the next agenda.
Okay. Read the email. Okay.
What it boils down to is June 19th is the meeting in June. The county is closed.
Okay.
And so we're going to have to find another day to put it on. I suggested a couple of days. It'll be on the next agenda to vote on.
And so we'll vote on it in May.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's hurry up and go for adjournment before Rob says something else he's not supposed to. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Roll call.
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Davis.
Yes. We are.